Let me tell you something that most people are too polite to say directly. Chasing a woman who is not chasing you back is not romantic. It is not persistence. It is not passion. It is one of the fastest ways to make yourself less attractive, less respected, and less valuable in her eyes, and I am going to tell you exactly why. But before we get into the 3 reasons you should stop chasing, we need to address the question underneath all of this. Why do women make men chase them in the first place? Because if you understand the root of it, the whole game starts to look very different. There are 2 reasons a woman makes you chase her. The first one is simple, and I know it is not what you want to hear. She is probably not that into you. When a woman genuinely likes a man, you can feel it. You can hear it in how she talks to you, see it in how available she makes herself, feel it in her body language when you walk into a room. She does not drag things out just for the thrill of being pursued, because she actually wants to be with you. But when you are the one doing all the work, always initiating, always following up, always pushing the conversation forward, that is a signal. It means you are likely one of several options, and you are not the top one. So she lets you work for it, because in her mind, the harder you try, the more it proves you are worth her attention. That is the dynamic you are trapped in, and you need to see it clearly before you can step out of it. The second reason is that she has been hurt before. She has had experiences that taught her to keep her walls up, to test a man's commitment before she gives him access to her heart. She believes that the harder a man is willing to work, the more serious he must be. And while that logic makes emotional sense, it is not always true, because plenty of men chase purely for the sport of it, with no real intention of building anything meaningful once they win. Those are the 2 reasons. Either she is not interested, or she is protecting herself. Neither of those reasons is an invitation to push harder. Now here are the 3 reasons you need to stop. Reason 1. Chasing her means you are abandoning yourself. Every hour you spend thinking about how to get her attention is an hour you are not spending on your own life. Your goals, your ambitions, the version of yourself you are supposed to be building right now. Think about where you want to be 5 years from now. What does that look like? What does it require of you today? Because I promise you, it does not require you to spend your energy orbiting a woman who has not decided she wants you yet. Here is what I know to be true. A man who is locked in on his purpose, who is building something, growing something, becoming someone, is magnetic in a way that no amount of chasing can manufacture. You cannot perform that kind of energy. It has to be real. And the moment you start pouring everything into your own vision, something shifts. The woman who barely noticed you starts paying attention. The one who made you work for every response suddenly wants to know what you are up to. Stop chasing women. Chase what you are meant to build. The right woman will notice the man you are becoming, and she will come to you. Reason 2. Chasing makes you look desperate, and desperation is deeply unattractive. I am going to be honest with you, because I think you need to hear this from a woman directly. I have had someone pursue me who I had no interest in, not even as a friend. I made it clear, more than once, in more ways than one. And he kept coming, kept calling, kept showing up. Every time he did, my opinion of him dropped a little more. Not because he was a bad person, but because the relentless pursuit told me something about how he saw himself like he did not believe he could do better, like he needed my validation to feel like he had value. And that is not attractive to anyone. When a woman has already told you no, whether directly or through her consistent unavailability, her short responses, her general energy, and you keep pushing anyway, you are not being romantic. You are applying pressure. And pressure does not create genuine attraction. At best, it creates guilt. At worst, it creates resentment. If a woman is not meeting you halfway, cut your losses and walk away. That is not defeat. That is self-respect. and self-respect is one of the most attractive things a man can carry. There are other women. There is always another door. Do not stand outside the wrong one begging to be let in. Reason 3. However you start is how you will have to continue. This is the one that people do not think about until it is too late. If you chase her to win her, you will have to keep chasing her to keep her. You already set the standard. You already showed her what she can expect from you: maximum effort, constant pursuit, you always being the one to close the distance. And now she expects that. Not because she is manipulative, but because that is simply what you established from the beginning. You put her on a pedestal the moment you made her the prize you were hunting. And pedestals are uncomfortable places to build a real relationship, because one person is always looking up and the other is always looking down, and neither position is where genuine partnership lives. Here is what happens when you do not chase. When you make your interest known but you do not perform for her. When you are present but not desperate. When you have a full life that does not pause for her, her curiosity takes over. She starts wondering why you are not doing what every other man does. She starts paying attention to you differently. Not always, but often enough that it is worth understanding. The relationship you want is one where both people are choosing each other, consistently and equally. You cannot build that on a foundation of one person doing all the running. Because eventually, you will get tired, and by the time you stop, you will have spent years maintaining a dynamic that was never balanced to begin with. Do not start what you cannot sustain. Do not campaign so hard that you have nothing left to give once the election is over. Know your worth. Build your life. Let the right woman step into it, not because you chased her down, but because what you are building was impossible for her to ignore.